In a previous video, I showed you how to get a little more life out of a screeching tensioner or idler pulley with oil or WD-40. And it actually got me 3 more weeks of life out of it. In this video, I will show you how to replace the idler pulley. The dryer I'm working on is a Westinghouse Cabrio. Make sure you unplug the dryer before you start working on it. I start by taking out the 2 screws for the lint trap. Next, I use a 5-in-1 tool or a small putty knife to release the 2 clips holding the top down. The top of the dryer is on hinges, so I pull the dryer out away from the wall just enough to hold the lid up. These are the clips I released with the 5-in-1 tool to lift the lid on the dryer. I use a 5/16 bit to remove the 2 screws that hold the front panel on. I lift the front panel off the hooks and move it to the side. This is the new idler pulley I'm going to install. The pulley arm has a spring attached to it to keep the belt tight. To remove the belt, I lift up on the pulley to relieve the tension. Because there's not a lot of room, the hardest part about this repair is trying to do everything with one hand. Using a 3/8 bit, I remove the bolt to the idler pulley. To remove the idler pulley, I unhook the spring, or in my case, the spring fell off. The most difficult part about this job is doing everything with one hand. The bad part about this scene is I had the arm installed on the first try in less than a minute. When I look back at the replay, for some reason the camera didn't turn on. So I took it back apart and did it over. I struggled with this for over 10 minutes after that. Enough with that. I think you get the point. Finally, I squeezed another arm in there and did everything by feel and got it to hook on. Here I'm reinstalling the spring, and you have to reinstall it before you can put the bolt in. One end of the spring hooks on this area right here. The other end of the spring hooks onto a hole in the arm, as shown in the picture above. I finally got it back together. However, I had to remove it again. This time, when I tightened the bolt, the arm wouldn't pivot. And yet again, the camera didn't turn on. And I forgot to check the footage. So the footage of where I explain how the bolt fits on the arm isn't here. So I'll attempt to show you with a couple of still shots. If you look at this area right here on the bolt, you'll see that it's wider than the bolt itself and acts as a cam. You'll also notice that it's thicker than the bracket. This allows the bracket to pivot when the bolt is fully tightened. This is the area on the bracket the bolt has to slide over. If you don't have this properly centered, when you tighten the bolt, the arm will not pivot. This time when I installed the bolt, I used a long extension so I can use both hands and still see what I was doing. This way I can make sure the pulley arm was properly seated on the bolt. Before I tighten it, I make sure the arm is seated on the bolt properly. As you can see here, the bolt is fully tightened and the arm pivots freely. Here comes the tricky part, trying to put the belt back on the pulley and the tensioner with one hand. And the camera was running this time. Now I rotate the drum by hand just to make sure everything is functioning properly. When I reinstall the front panel, it'll hook onto this clip. This is the clip I was talking about. The slot on the front panel hooks on to this hook on the dryer. Now I can reinstall the front screws. Then I lower the lid and snap it into place. The last thing to do is install the 2 screws for the lint trap. Now we can turn the dryer back on. Now that we've installed a new pulley, we went from this to this, and now it sounds like a new dryer. I hope this video helped. Don't forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Click the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, visit me on Facebook. Until next time, thank you for watching.